Hey guys, welcome. I'm Rob Tatro, one half of the running journey. This is my brother Charlie. Pretty excited to be here today because we get to talk about a race that Charlie just did. Okay, so I have in front of me long course Hecla Triathlon. Charlie, you just did a half Ironman, aka long course. How did it go? That was last weekend, 5 days ago.
I don't know. There were some ups and downs.
I think you did well, very, 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 very well on the bike, which has become a theme of you.
Yeah.
Very, very well. Second place overall.
Second place overall, yeah.
Finished behind our buddy Les Friesen.
Yeah, that guy's fat. Well, that guy, he's just in good shape.
And he's a really good athlete.
Yeah.
You finished 23 minutes behind him. You finished in a time of 4 hours and 46 minutes, so right on your stretch.
Yeah. I'm pulling up my goals and what I wrote down here. So 39:16 was my actual swim. My goal was 39 minutes. So I lost 16 seconds there, but honestly, this did not feel great. I think maybe the course was probably short too, or shorter than last year.
The bike course?
No, the swim course.
The swim, sorry.
But I got into it like first 5 minutes and I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. So I just so then I said, okay, I'll just relax and I'll just I don't care about the swim anyways. I'll get through it. It'll be 1 or 2 minutes slow. Who cares? And then
what was your time last time? Sorry, you said 38 was your goal?
39 was my goal. My time was 38:45. So I only missed my goal by 16 seconds, but I think it was short. That is why
this says 39:15 on the website.
39:15. Oh,
but you stopped it on your watch, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. 39:15. So I lost 15 seconds there, basically 1 second per 100 meters. So not a big deal. And I feel like I really kind of took it easy. And on the second loop, I started relaxing more and I started passing people, even though I was like, I must have been almost at the back of the pack because I feel like I passed like 10 people on the second loop. So
you finished middle of the pack, right?
Yeah, bottom half. Well, slightly above
16th out of 32
on the swim.
That's what it says here.
No, I was further back. No.
Well,
are you looking at the right year? Or?
Yeah, Hecla 2024 triathlon, long course. You were 16 out of 32nd. And overall, you were 23rd out of 43 after your swim.
Yeah, 24.
23rd out of 43 overall.
Yeah, 23. Yes, that makes sense. 23rd.
But 16 out of 32 in the males.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, okay. So 16 out of 32 in the males. So
halfway.
Yeah, I was halfway. So I wasn't.
But you passed a bunch of people in the second half. So you might have been really towards the back after the first loop.
Yeah, I was really struggling at first. I was kind of like, am I going to survive? Again, the panics, So I just kind of said, okay, I'll just chill out and I'll just take it easy for a while. And then I started feeling better as I went on. And then
can I ask you about when you were chilling out, were you doing constant stroking or were you doing the Rob Tatro frog?
No, I was just going easy.
Yeah.
There was one place that I stopped at the second buoy where it was just, there's so many people.
It's tight.
Around.
It's a tight corner.
And it's a tight corner. And so I just kind of started doing the breaststroke. I did the breaststroke for a couple strokes there, even maybe 5-10 seconds. And then I was like, okay, I could do this. And I started again. And then I just kind of went easy for a while, just like smooth and easy. And I didn't care about my time, which is exactly how I plan on doing the Ironman, is just relaxed and easy. Because in the Ironman, it's a cheater Ironman. It doesn't really matter. From what I've seen, people that are worse swimmers than me get like 50-minute swims, and people that are much better than me get like 40-minute swims. So it's like a 10-minute difference between being really bad and really good at this Ironman California. So I'm okay with it. I was a little down on my swimming after the triathlon. I was like, I spent all this time swimming. I feel like I'm improving a lot in the pool. And then when I get to race day, I feel like I don't really perform. So I was a little down on my swimming, but really wasn't terrible. So yeah.
Yeah, I got to ask you about swimming, because I feel like swimming is it's the great unknown about these triathlons and these Ironmans. It's sometimes you work so hard, you have a good day, but largely we always say the same thing. I'm just going to go whether I'm a minute or two short. It's not a big deal. I just want to focus on the bike and the swim. On bike and the run. Do you think our attitude is similar than most triathletes, or do you think we're different? And do you think because of that, we end up not doing as well on the swim? Or do you think everyone kind of looks at the swim this way, like we do, which is
no, I think it's very split. Like, I think there's these A-type personalities like we are that probably usually don't look at like we do. In other words, like they want to do well in the swim, and like that's kind of how I used to look at it. But I think a better approach now that I've taken is to just kind of be like, when I did my first Ironman, I just was like, okay, I'm going to get through it. I'll just take it easy and I'll try to be as relaxed as I can for the entire swim. And then recently I was like, I feel like I should be improving. So I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, I think. So I think a lot of people are in that boat too. They put pressure on themselves in the swim, or they're really good swimmers. Like, it depends how good you are. Like, if you're good at swimming, you probably want to try to, if I was better at swimming, I'd probably want to do better. Like, I'd probably care more, So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question. I think it's probably not, depends on the person.
Okay, fair enough. So anyways, 39-minute swim, which was right on your target, target, even though you feel like you left some seconds out there on the course, you're right on goal still.
Yeah. No, I think it was still, and it was 21 degrees when the swim started. So it was hot. It was like I was overheating on the swim with the wetsuit and everything.
Yeah. Was it close to maybe not being wetsuit legal?
No, because it's a lake and it had rained quite a bit, and the Lake Winnipeg, like it doesn't heat up, right?
Dude, wetsuit legal in the ocean in Nice.
The ocean, yes. But Lake Winnipeg is like so cold most of the year.
Notoriously cold. Okay.
Yeah. So
not as cold as the North Sea, which we story. We went to the one day we went to the beach. The one day it was like, it's a gorgeous day to go to the beach. And we're like, all right, let's go to the beach. So we went to the beach in Sunderland, actually just south of Scotland, in Sunderland, north England, like as north as you can be on the North Sea. We found the beach, and the water was in the 60s, like 63 or 64. Remember when we used to swim in that temperature? Like, it was really, really.
No, that's ridiculously cold. So
there was people swimming everywhere.
Apparently, Ironman California, the temperature is like 68, which is probably going to feel a little cold for me, but we'll see.
Man, it was cold, and my kids were in there a little bit. They'd go and they'd come back out. They go, oh, it's so cold. But like, there were all these other English kids swimming, and they don't get beach days, right? Like, this was the hottest day of the year.
Yeah. So they're used to it.
They were in the ocean. Anyways, in the North Sea, I should say. So your transition was a $1:42.
Yeah. So that was my best part of my race. I don't know how I did it that fast, because I felt like I kind of just was very relaxed through that transition. I took my wetsuit off, put my aero socks on. And then I think maybe the socks didn't cost me time because it was that much easier to put the shoes on.
What shoes did you go with? Your Vaporflies?
No. So for biking here. Yeah. So it's just my bike shoes. And then I ran to the start and I started my bike. Pretty decent. I only struggled for about 1 or 2 seconds to get on my bike, so that was not too bad. And then I
used to have a hard time getting on my bike. That's how shitty I was at a biker. Like, when I like just getting the leg over and like, that's so ridiculous, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's not that easy. But I have my technique. It's not great, but I just put my left leg over and then I throw my whole right leg over in one motion, and then I'm off. So the bike, well, so it didn't start off well. It started off with some problems, let's say.
Okay, you were in 16th position after the swim. You gained 2 spots in transition, surprisingly. So now
I crushed that transition T1. Yeah.
Now you're in 14th position.
Yeah. So, and I was behind a bunch of girls too, like so many.
Yeah, you're behind everyone.
Yeah.
You're 20th out of 43rd overall.
Yeah. So, my power meter. So first of all, my speed wasn't working when I started biking. So I had no clue how fast I was going.
Yeah, but your watch tells you.
Not me. I didn't start it or anything. Oh. So anyways.
I don't have a power meter. I don't have a speed and a power meter on my bike.
So I had no clue how fast I was going. And then I realized like a minute in, I'm like, oh, I didn't calibrate my power meter. So my power meter, and then my last ride, I suspected that my power meter was way off.
So how do you calibrate a power meter?
You just pedal and Garmin, and there's a button that says calibrate on your phone, and it's just like, yeah, it's easy. It's just with your phone. You turn it on, you connect it to your phone, and then you hit calibrate.
How does it know? Anyways,
I have no clue how it works. Like it to me, it seems magical, but apparently, like, yeah, I felt like my last bike ride, it was slightly off. So I was like, I can't rely on the power either. So I was like, okay, well, F it. I'm just going hard. And then I could see people, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pass him. Like because there's so many people to pass, there's always like a target in the distance.
And you get the little bit of draft, like a little bit.
For like half a second, not even.
You're going so much faster than them.
At the beginning,
they're like the rock.
At the beginning, yes, yeah, because until I got to like JP and or JL Jean-Luc Perron,
Tyson. Travis's buddy's kid.
Yeah. So interesting about that guy. I talked to Travis a little bit. He bought his bike, and Travis did the Ironman this weekend.
So wait. When did you talk to Travis?
We were texting the day before, and I texted him after his Ironman. He told me that JL, so Jean-Luc Perron, the guy that finished third in this race, is also doing Ironman California.
He told me that too. That's right. Yeah.
He's
bringing his whole family. His whole family's going.
Oh yeah, I talked to the dad, so maybe I'll go hang out with the dad a little bit. The dad was we talked for a while.
Like the dad is like Claude or what?
Yeah, the dad's like a little bit younger than Claude, but we were like hanging out after. Anyways, it was good. We're like 5 minutes we talked. It was good.
Nice. Yeah, he's using Trav's old bike. That's cool.
Yeah. So okay, so then finally, after about 5 kilometers or 3 kilometers, I start seeing my power data or my speed data. I start seeing how fast I'm going, and I knew I was slightly downwind, and in my head I was hoping for like a 39. Like my goal was 222 is what I put, but in my head,
22 minutes.
In my head, I was like, if things go well, I could do like 218, because my goal was to hit 255 watts, and I kind of had a conservative estimate on a CDA of 0.28
coefficient of drag, and how much that would reduce your speed.
Yeah, and which would give me about a 38 kilometer an hour pace. But I'm
the only one that's listening to this podcast that doesn't know what you're talking about most of the time, or do our viewers?
No. I think that beginning triathletes, like, I think this is, I'm going to go through some of these numbers, but this is the thing that people don't talk about. I feel like maybe when you start, like, I never heard Bryce talk about this. I never heard like
me. I did 4 Ironman, and I've never said the word CDA in my life.
Yeah. So I feel like it's such a big opportunity that people are missing out.
I want to say something here. So Simo I've been chatting with Simo because he's doing his Ironman tomorrow.
I'm going to follow Friday, Sunday.
Yeah. So he's and like some people text me sometimes about the podcast and they're just like loving the podcast because, and they kind of tell me it's because you guys are going through what I'm going through, which is I don't know anything about these sports and we're just learning.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing the work for me. You're kind of digging, Charlie mostly is doing the work for us, learning about terms and processes, and you're talking about it like two guys that are really interested in the sport and passionate about it. So I'm glad that you're doing all that because you're adding a lot to this podcast, and I think it's one of the reasons people follow. So anyway, CDA is a coefficient of
so my first Ironman, okay, I averaged 217 watts, and I went like 200, and I went like 31, like so slow.
Okay, well, 31 kilometers an hour is not slow, Charlie.
Yeah, but if I would put 217 watts today, I would go like 5 kilometers an hour faster with the exact same power.
Wow. So this is the lesson. This is the lesson right here that people don't talk about. This, we need to do a value video on this.
So I thought it was my first Ironman. I was just concerned about being able to, you know, put power on the, and I wish I would have been explained or someone would have seen me biking or something in my first, because I feel like you're wasting energy. You're wasting so much because it's not just, you can improve this without spending any money, right? Anyways.
Don't you wish that you had like a brother or something that had already done 2 or 3 Ironman that could have like talked to you about this?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's fine, but it's
the thing is, I didn't know anything about this. I was just like,
when I started, I didn't know how to, I didn't really know how to even approach this problem. So yeah, I think what you're saying is true. If I can help other people kind of get through this problem, that'd be awesome. Anyway, so,
and again, your biggest, you said it a few podcasts ago, but in like 2 paragraphs, in 2 lines, one is put your seat up and bring your shoulders in.
Basically, that's for me. That's for me, right? So,
right. But this is probably like swimming where you need someone to assess your stroke and
exactly. You need to, well, first of all, you need to maybe see a picture of yourself. And if you're really upright, like look at how much wind you're catching, right? Like,
right. How much wind, like your spine would be catching most of the wind, right?
Yeah. Like if you're like upright like this, as opposed to like this, like you're going to be going faster like this.
Is the head okay, like the big piece there, or is it the shoulders and the back? That's
well, all of it combined, right? But
well, in your case, where did you cut the most, do you think? With your head coming down, or is it your back being down?
The angle of my back, I believe.
Angle of your back is 60 to 70% of the gain.
Yeah. So I ended up doing a 218. Okay.
Watts. Your time.
218. My average watts were right on my goal, which was 255 watts, but my CDA was slightly better than what I was expecting.
More efficient. You were more efficient.
Yeah.
And what was the CDA, 0.55 or something?
0.27. So slightly better, which is not a super, like from what I've been reading, it's not a great number. So like there's still,
I probably have the highest CDA ever. I
think my Ironman last year had an extremely high one, but yeah. So and then the other thing is I did a couple of dumb mistakes on this thing. When I did at the end of the first loop, last year you went around clockwise. So I didn't look at the arrows. I started going around clockwise. I didn't listen to the meeting at the beginning or whatever. Started going clockwise and then they're like, "Oh, you're going the wrong way." So I went like this, and then I did a loop. I did a quick loop around, and then I went back the other way. So that probably cost me like 20 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, but wait, it was a cone right in the middle of the road.
It was a bunch of cones.
Yeah.
So I was going the wrong way, so I like went between 2 cones, went back around, and then went the right way.
They cared though if you took it that way versus that way.
I wasn't sure. I just like, oh, you're going the wrong way. I was like, what do I do?
But was there another biker there with you?
No, I was alone.
There wouldn't have been a crash, right?
No, but
you would have still covered the same distance.
But it would have just been confusing for them, so I didn't want to risk it. Whatever. It didn't take too long.
I got it. Yeah. But you lost for sure 10 seconds.
I'd say maybe 10, maybe 20. Maybe it wasn't that. It was like 10 seconds. And then I kind of screwed up. So what I wanted to do was, it was very, very hot day and humid. And I wanted to like get as much water. And so my plan was to get about 4 bottles of nutrition. So I filled 4 bottles of hydration. I filled 3 bottles with like 100 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
So
Scratch.
Scratch. So
that's
ended up
3 scoops. No, 100 grams. So 4 scoops.
No, I put 5 scoops in per.
5 scoops.
And so
in
basically
each bottle. So you had 300 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
For
Patrick said it might be a little too much.
Wow, for like a 4-hour race, 3-hour race, 4-hour, 5-hour race.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been reading that 100 grams is kind of the number you want to hit.
Well, I said that when I did my 100K, I was 75 was not enough, and I'm not going near the effort that you were going.
So Patrick said it might be too much, and you might get sick. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And I actually, like 3/4 of the way on the second loop, 3/4 of the way, I almost puked like 3 or 4 times.
It was just too much scratch in your body.
But you know what? So I picked up but I did pick up I wanted to practice picking up bottles. So after the first loop, I picked up a full, just plain water bottle.
Yeah.
And that really started making me feel better. Just the straight water.
Yeah.
So I think it helps me plan around the Ironman now, because I feel like I can do the 100 grams, but I need more water to go with that. I didn't even pee on my bike. So I thought for sure I'd need to pee, and I didn't even pee. It wasn't even close.
You were dripping in sweat, obviously.
And I was dripping in sweat.
So for those that don't know, I think Scratch, most people recommend like 1 or 2 scoops per 500 ml kind of thing. So for Charlie, like I did 3 on my last 100K. It was dense. So when I did my last Ironman, I did 7 in a thing, but I was diluting it with water in my mixer thing.
Yeah.
So I do like squirt, water, and then you get diluted scratch. So to do that much scratch, I guess it's tough on your body.
Yeah, it is. Patrick said that's probably gonna be pretty hard. Like he said, like you could try it, but if you start feeling sick, like slow down on it,
because it's just too much like straight sugar, like,
yeah. So anyways, so the bike leg went really well, and the other thing that I did, which I would like to do better, well, because I was filling my balls at each turn to not waste power, because like I'm going 40 kilometers an hour going into that turn, and now I have to do a complete UE. So pedaling anywhere near the end of that turn is wasted energy. So I'd use that time to fill up my I had my bottle at the front and I fill it up. But one thing I did forget to do is, before doing that, was like going really down on the gears, because you go from 40 to like 10 kilometers an hour.
And then you're trying to pick up speed after
on a turn. Like if you're still in that 40 kilometer an hour gear, it's going to be you're going to lose a couple of seconds there. So, but besides that, I
really detailed
minor things. These are very, very minor things.
It's not like you fell off your bike.
Yeah. So JL did fall off his bike. That's probably why he early on. So because we had about the same time on an Olympic, but I beat him by like 10 minutes on the long course one. I think maybe I went a little too hard, because the run ended up being really hard. So anyways, I crushed that bike.
He beat you by 7 minutes on the swim, same transition, and you beat him by 10 on the bike.
Yeah.
And then you also beat him on the run.
Yeah. So T2 I was a little disappointed in, but it was actually really hard.
You did a 2 hours and 17-minute bike, which is 40 kilometers an hour. Am I close?
39.1. So, I forgot to mention, I got a KOM. I got 2 KOMs on this, but only
KOMs are the
on Strava, like the
best times or whatever.
Yeah, only because Les didn't put his time in there. But
Because he beat you. Yeah.
I'm
for
sure I'm sure he was faster.
What
But
did he have
he beat me by 1 minute.
on the bike? That's it?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
win. Like that
Well,
guy's
yeah.
a really good
So
biker.
I would go, and every time I'd meet him, I knew he was ahead of me after this. Every time I'd meet him at a turnaround, I'd check my clock and I'd be okay. How
Double
far
it.
am I? And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm keeping pretty even with him. So I was pretty pumped. And then I kind of I wanted to not. Sometimes what I found in these bike things is that I take it easy, or I kind of slow down a little bit for the last 30 minutes because of psychological, like trying to. And then I was like, I don't think that actually helps me on the run to slow down a little
Just
bit.
slow down so that you're fresher for the run.
Yeah, I do.
But I
I've
mean,
done that.
You get that 2 minutes in transition, right? Where the heart rate comes
Yeah.
down a little bit.
So I'm not sure if that's right or not, but I kind of kept the same. I was maybe 257 watts on the first half and 253. Like it was pretty well even.
You went hard. Like that
Yeah.
is okay. So I need to pause here and tell you how really freaking good that is, Charlie. And maybe you know it, maybe you don't. But for those that are listening, like most people, I think, like you're getting into like really, you're no longer like just a couch guy running Ironmans here. This is really good time on the bike, 40 kilometers an hour. Like that's impressive. That's really good on 90. What is it? 90 kilometers.
Yeah, 90 kilometers. Yeah,
that's good, man. Congrats. It's a good time.
Thanks. Yeah, no, super pumped with the. So I'm so pumped with the bike. Like the bike is amazing, but this is kind of how
this sport is tough on us because you end up thinking,
or like if you're a bit of a, I don't know what type of personality I am, but I like, yeah, I knew I could do that. Like, it's amazing, but I'm like, in my head, I was like, I knew I could do that. So I'm like more focused on the disappointment of like the swim, being a terrible swimmer, not that terrible, but how I felt, and how badly the run, like, and the run didn't go that badly, but just that the run didn't go as hoped, right? So I'm like, for some reason, I focus on those two things because I was like, the bike, I knew I was going to do that, even though I have to kind of take the time to say, yeah, that was a really good bike, even though it's like,
it's kind of like,
I don't know if I'm explaining it right. It's like nothing more than what I expected.
You don't get the joy of having done the best bike you might ever do in your life because you had trained so hard for it and you had the data and you knew you were going to do it.
I knew there was a chance. It's
a little bit like our run in San Bernardino, a little bit, because we did an unbelievable time, 2 hours and 56 minutes. You did 254 or whatever. Like that's an absurd time for us. Like for us, just regular guys running. And I know it's not for others, but for us, it was an absurd time. And then we sat back down at the place after, and we were just like ho hum about it. Like, and disappointed in the finish. And I couldn't,
because it's again, I guess it's because it's all in the journey, right? I guess.
Yes, it is all in the journey. It's all in the journey. I was talking to this guy, another guy, and we were talking about our business. And I just hit a pretty significant milestone in my business, and I've been working my entire life to try to get there in my business. It's an asset under management number that I hit, and it's $1 billion. I hit $1 billion of assets under management. I've been trying to hit that number for all my life, and I hit it, and I was like, "Who cares? Who cares?" And I was talking to this other portfolio manager, and he's an endurance runner, and he said, "Dude, I just did the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim." Whatever it is, this huge thing. And after he did it, he was like, it's all about the journey. And I feel that about the jogs, and I feel that about my business right now. Like the journey to get to this was so significant and so valuable and so fun. And now it's okay. Well, I pick another race and have another journey. Anyways, that disappointment that you felt in the swim, I know you felt it, not deserved. And you probably felt disappointment in the run, but I told you before we recorded, I said, man, if you push the bike that you think you're going to push, you're not going to do a one. What did you tell me as your goal? 135? What was your goal?
140.
Yeah, I said, I don't think you're going to do 140, Charlie. I was trying to not
but let's, I'm going to go back to the bike a little bit. And just so people understand how I improved. I improved 13 minutes from last year. Okay.
Yep.
Actually 2 watts less. 2 watts.
It's all in the arrow.
So I had 2 watts less for 13 minutes less. So technically, the bike and my heart rate was 5 beats less than it was last year.
So you went softer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in better shape because you're able to out.
Better shape,
less heart rate.
Yeah,
but you didn't put out more. You saved yourself a little bit.
So I should have been faster on the run, is what I think.
Okay.
But for some reason I wasn't. But we'll talk about that. I want to talk about the aero gains.
Yeah.
To summarize how it can be done. Okay, so my speed in 2023 same watts was 35.6 kilometers an hour. I'm just gonna say same watts because it's 2 watts is not a big difference. Right? New tires. So this isn't actually an aero gain. This is a rolling resistance gain. This is the best investment you can ever make to get faster. These tires cost $125 per tire, so it's a little bit more expensive. But the Continental 5000, GP 5000, that improved my speed by a full kilometer an hour.
Just having the tires, new
tires,
wattage. How
same
do you
wattage.
know? Oh, because you compared.
So I did for each of these. I did actually. I did tests.
A/B
testing. I did like isolated testing for each of these,
and like no wins and whatever. Like you were
It's an estimate. It's not 100% exact, but it's a pretty close estimate to what
1 kilometer an hour for $125 times 2.
From 35.6 to 36.6.
So then I started. That's easy. Yeah.
Then I started experimenting with my aero position. I realized my back was like this. So when I saw videos of my Ironman from last year, and when I looked at the good riders, I saw that they were more like this. And so I just tried to kind of visually get to that point somehow. So the 2 things that I did there is I adopted a new aero position, but I kind of moved my seat forward and tried to go more forward, and I moved my seat up a little bit.
Yeah. So
the thing you have to be careful. Yeah, the thing you have to be careful with that is you don't want to go too high up because you don't want the length between your hips and the crank has to stay at a reasonable amount. So you need to check this with a bike fitter before
you want to be able to have optimized your legs, your turn.
Yeah. You don't want it. You don't want to cause injuries or anything like that. But but you got to figure out. So I think the next thing, I'm not going to do this before I'm in California, but my next big gain is if I can shorten my crank, my pedal crank, I can get that even a bit higher and be slightly even more aero. But because that's right now is the limitation is the reach of my leg to the bottom of that crank. So that's why I can't go higher. So that was 1.6 kilometers an hour free of charge.
Free of charge. You don't need to pay for that.
Well, I mean, I did get a bike fit, but the guy didn't charge me. So,
but it's free. Like if you knew a bike guy or if you just Google a video.
But new aero position. So 1.6 kilometers an hour. So from 36.6 to 38.2. Same watts. And then, I did buy an aero helmet. So this was like $300.
Cheater helmet. I saw it.
$300. And that was about half a kilometer an hour improvement. Okay. So not that much. So, and then honestly, the last thing is just your bike maintenance. So cleaning your bike. One thing I never realized what the impact was. So I went on back-to-back rides, one with my chain not lubed, and then one with the chain lubed. So that's not a CDA improvement. That's just a mechanical efficiency improvement. But having your chain be lubed correctly. And then I also bought aero socks. So I'm putting all those 3 things into one thing. Apparently aero socks make a difference.
How are they? What are they? Oh, they come up on your leg and it's kind of like having shape.
It's just the shape around your legs. It's better than a bare leg, apparently.
Wow.
So
how much are all those?
So all of that was 0.4 kilometers an hour for a total of 2.6, 3.1, 3.5 kilometers an hour faster on the same wattage from 1 year. So, and I'm not this is just me like going after one thing at a time, like
figuring it out, trying it out, trying one race with the socks, you're just a guy. You have a job, you have a family.
So I feel like, I mean, that's a thing. The tires are an easy one, and the aero position are an easy one. Right?
And now you're getting your cheater wheels.
Yeah, can't wait to test them. So I have them in the house now. I will not use them for my long bike ride until I want to test them a little bit before I use them for a long bike ride. But I am looking forward to see, even if I can get a half.
You would beat less maybe had you had the cheater wheels on the bike.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, because a minute on 2 hours, you probably would have made up a minute with the cheater wheels. So just to put this in perspective, guys, if you're kind of biking slow to do an Ironman when you start and you don't know anything about biking, like I remember the first time when I was just starting biking, I didn't know, I was kind of in the 25 kilometer an hour range for long runs, and that was good for me. So to gain, and then 30 was kind of a target I had set for, like, that's a 6 hour bike for an Ironman as a guy who's just off his couch and training. That was kind of a goal. So that's 30. And if you're gaining 2.5, what did you say? 2.9 kilometers an hour for free, pretty much? I gained
3.5 kilometers an hour without any additional power.
But we're not talking about on 30 kilometers an hour, really. You're adding 30 because no effort is 25 and max effort is 30. So you're getting like 100% of the effort gain you get from increasing your power. Like it's not.
Plus it shortens the bike ride with the same amount of effort, right?
Yeah. So 34 kilometers an hour instead of 30 kilometers an hour on an Ironman is 24 kilometers is, what is that? 48 minutes, give or take 50 minutes. Like
I calculated that these improvements probably would save me about 30 minutes on an Ironman.
But you're faster.
Yeah.
So I'm saying anyone who's kind of starting out, like me 2 years ago, if I would have listened to this podcast before I did my Ironmans, I would have trimmed like 45 minutes. Crazy.
Well, maybe not that much, because at slower speeds the impact isn't as much, but regardless,
that's not even counting the aero though. We're not even talking about the aero yet.
Tires, like for sure 10 minutes.
Buying tires, 10 minutes. Yeah, and you're battling so hard to trim. Think of your marathon at the Ironman, how hard it was to trim 10 minutes. Like that's 20 seconds a mile, 25 seconds a mile. Think of how hard you're running 10-minute mile versus 10 and a half in a mile. Think of how much you pay to save those 10 minutes. So of course you're doing all this. So anyways, it's very valuable information. I hope that people gather. And I mean, and a lot of people that are listening to this might not be biking. I don't know. But anyways, so
we want to talk about
let's get to the run. Yeah, T2.
So T2, I had a hard time. So I actually practiced getting out of my shoes on the bike.
Yeah.
And it's not that as hard as I thought. I can actually do it pretty easily. And I actually
did it on the bike?
I did it on the bike. So I took my shoes off before the end. I took my feet out of the shoes as I was getting off the bike.
Yeah. I did it at one of my races last year, the Ironman. I forget which one, but I did it. And if I did it, you could for sure do it.
Yeah. So I did it. And then I just ran the bike to the thing, and I had
shoes stayed on the bike?
Shoes stayed on the bike, ran all the way there, put on my shoes, and then I had a hard time getting going. It was just like, I felt really kind of dehydrated, I guess, maybe. Even though I had 4 bottles. So I had a bottle in my aid station, in my transition. So I basically chugged like almost a full bottle
of water
before getting going. And then I kind of walked out of transition.
Yeah. Your belly full of water. You're like,
So that's why my transition was maybe not as fast as I would have.
Your transition was 129. Les's was 116.
I know, but I had never done the shoes off, so I feel like it should have been faster, right?
Les did 116. He's as good as they get.
Yeah.
And JL,
I did
115. Did 142.
I did 115 last year.
Was it the exact same setup?
It was pretty similar. Yeah.
They might not have had the timing mats.
Maybe it wasn't exact. Yeah. So who knows where the timing mat was?
Like you beat JP by quite a bit, and you only lost.
But
10 seconds.
Victor crushed his transitions.
Oh, I need to ask you about Victor.
How does he do those transitions so fast? He's unreal, that kid.
Yeah,
he's a good runner too, man. He's a good runner.
He's a good runner. He's a good biker. He's a good kid. Good kid. Yeah, he did a 1 minute transition.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wish I would have been like him.
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 second transition. Did you see his comment on one of your bikes?
Yeah.
He goes, I think I went too hard on the bike.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so back to the bike. I think if I would have gone maybe like half a kilometer an hour slower on the bike, I think I probably would have gained. I would have maybe lost, like, I don't know, maybe if I would have lost like 4 minutes on the bike, I would have probably gained like 8 on the run or 5 on the run.
I don't know, man.
Maybe 5. I don't know. It's a tough judgment call, but
this you have not enough data.
No,
I do not have enough data to
That's why I'm like, I'd rather just go hard on the bike, and then if I can run, I can run, you know.
Yeah, because you're banking that time, and you don't know how you're going to do in a situation where you don't have enough. You couldn't possibly do enough A/B racing. Well, you could, I guess, over time, but for now, you don't have enough data to know.
But what was hard about the run is it was a much tougher course this year than it was last year.
Million turnarounds.
So 6 loops, million turnarounds. And every loop was a big climb. Like, to me, it felt like a big climb. It's probably
into the campground there?
At the top of the hill there's that loop. Back down, and then another big climb
around
into the campground. Parking lot. Yeah, that's the one into the campground. And then back. And then
so
back
that's the loop
transition.
I did when I did the race.
So it was 2 big climbs per loop, 6.5 loops.
Yeah, we did 3. I did 3 loops when I did mine, which was
the Olympic.
Olympic.
So it really felt like, I think my plan was, so here's back to race strategy and why it's important to go slower at the beginning than what your goal pace is. So my goal pace was 140, but I intentionally kind of went slower at the beginning, and I was around 750 by the 3rd loop. 750 per mile by the 3rd loop. And my plan was to continuously kind of try to get slightly faster and build till the end. But by the 4th loop, I was having a hard time, and then I was just trying to maintain. And then I did slow down for the 5th and 6th loop a little bit. And then finally, not much, a little bit, but the whole point of this is, had I started at my goal pace, so my goal pace was 738 per mile, I would have probably blown up and lost way. I would have probably been 5 minutes slower, or 4 minutes. I would have been slower had I started at 738. I would have definitely been slower. So because I started conservatively, I ended up getting not a terrible time. Plus it was plus 25 humid. And then my legs just got tired at the end.
So what did you do for the run? 140?
145.38. So I lost 5 minutes. So I gained 4 minutes on my bike, but I lost 5.5 on my run. Yeah. So overall, I was almost even on T1, T2, the swim. I gained 4 on the bike, lost 5.5 on the run. No, you didn't gain
4. You gained like versus last year?
Versus my goal. Oh, my goal is 222.
Yeah. Okay. You finished.
So my goal was 445, and I missed it by a minute.
Yeah.
So I was pretty close.
But a 2nd place finish.
Yeah. 2nd place finish. Yeah.
In the province, and beat Jean-Luc Perron, who's a stud, up and coming stud.
Well, he beat me at the Olympic in St. Malo, but I guess less swimming. But he beat me in the bike too in St. Malo. So maybe that's more endurance. I probably just have more endurance.
You have more endurance for sure. For sure. You're better endurance. And Victor finished 4th? Yeah, he did. Yeah. On his little non-tri
but
bike.
Every time I would see him coming back, he was catching up to me, Victor. Because he did a 130. He did a 139.
Yeah, he's gaining about a minute to 2 minutes per loop.
But I was like, he's about a half loop behind. There's no way he catches me. I was like getting ready psychologically
for him for the race at the end.
Well, like him and I thought JL would actually catch up to me too.
Yeah, he finished 4 minutes.
He was struggling too. He was struggling on the run too. So
same time roughly you two did, right?
He was a little bit slower than me.
Yeah. Okay.
on the run.
Yeah. So
But he gained a little bit, and then he gained a little bit the
he
first
gained
few
it
loops.
first. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely gaining first. And
First
then,
few loops, and then there was one loop where he must have walked or something, because then all of a sudden
no, he finished. No, he was just slightly slower on each loop. Slightly slower. And his last loops were slower than yours by 40 seconds.
Okay.
But he was a minute faster on the first one. So he had a positive split. You had a slightly positive split.
Yeah. Anyway, super. Yeah, the only thing about these things is it's great, but you kind of forget how hard it is when you're not doing it. Like right now, it's like, oh, it was awesome. But while you're doing it,
it's hard.
The last 2-3 loops on the run were like,
well, you're doing a
just
half marathon.
Just keep going, you know.
But that's what makes it so good. It's
as
so
you get through it, and even when it's like so hard.
Yeah, it's so hard.
But the weird thing is the bike. It was like
you knew the pace.
It didn't feel hard. It felt like I'm crushing this, and there's no stopping me, you know. So
hard enough.
Maybe like I don't know, but it's weird. It's weird. It's like when you're doing well, it's like that marathon that I had in even the one in Boston and the one in California. Those like kind of like those great races. Like you don't get that down like this is too hard feeling as much when you have those great races, you know.
Yeah,
like
this is hard feeling. Like I had it at my half marathon in my Magna Carta because I had it and I hadn't had it in a while. That shit feeling where you're like, this is too hard. I don't like why I'm just gonna get whatever time I get.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear yourself saying that,
well, that's what it was for me. The last 3 loops, I was like, I don't think they're gonna catch up to me.
It's gonna
be no way I catch Les. Oh yeah, so the story about Les is he's way ahead of me, and he's coming back on a loop, and I'm like, I see him run to the bathroom. I was like, he's so far ahead, he can just go to the washroom during.
If he has to go, he has to go.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great time, 4:46. So what's the rule of thumb for Ironman? They say double it in an hour or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's right.
That's a pretty freaking good time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Hopefully those wheels help me out a little bit, but I really do want to get under 10 for the Ironman in California.
Because of you think you're going to save a half hour on the swim?
If
you're doing 45
well,
minutes.
Depending. If I could get the swim under an hour, which depends on the current, right? Then it's a 450 bike, a 355 run, and 15 minutes of transition to be under 10. That's kind of what I
think you could do better than 15 on the transitions.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
round numbers. Yeah, this has got me. I think if you would have done the triathlon Ironman first, and I would have come in, like if it would have been reversed. So I did the Ironman first, and then you came in after.
Yeah,
I think I'd be a better Ironman right now. I'd be a better triathlete because I would have learned all this stuff from you, right? I'm kind of giving me the urge to do another one.
Yeah.
But I can't do that one in Sacramento because I'm at the World Championships in triathlon.
Are you not running Chicago too?
I'm running Chicago too, yeah. They're a week apart.
Oh, a week apart. Okay.
Yeah. Chicago is before, obviously. So I'm going to show up.
Let's talk about your training for Chicago for a second.
No, wait. Okay, but wait. Yes, we also have to talk about the office half marathon because it's this weekend. Real quick.
I just want a quick talk about marathon training in Manitoba in the summer and running a fall race. And it's so hot. It in the summer here, it's relatively hot. And I think we get the benefit of heat training. And then when it starts cooling down, you start getting faster and
it's free.
Every year this happens to me where in the summer it feels hard. And then it starts cooling down August, then late August, and you start feeling really good because you start feeling fast because it gets cooler. So I think you'll get the benefit of that for Chicago. I think that'll be really nice.
Yeah, I'm pumped about Chicago. Yesterday I had my first build session. It was like a tempo, and it was 25 minutes at 30 seconds less than race pace. So it was like a
30 seconds faster or slower?
Yeah, faster. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, my Strava, it didn't catch the accurate mileage because I was on a treadmill and I didn't adjust it. But I did, I averaged 9.3 on the treadmill for 25 minutes. So I hadn't done that in forever.
Whoa, I can't even do that for 1 minute, I don't think.
So yeah, I did 6:25, I think. Maybe it's not 30 seconds. I guess it'd be 25 seconds faster than race pace. 27 seconds faster.
Well, your goal is your race pace is 3 hours. Is that what?
Yeah. So what is that? 6:52?
6:50. It just rounded. It's 6:52, but
so 25 seconds faster.
Let's call it 6:50. Yeah.
But I was pumped because I was able to do it. When I saw the workout,
that's
I was like,
crazy. That's an amazing.
I don't think I can do this. Well, not only that, but the
zero chance I could. I don't know.
And then Patrick said, "Ooh, but it's tough to read tone in a." He's like, "Oh, a lot of HR drift here. 7% increase."
Yeah, well, I'm going at 6:20 a mile.
Patrick, this is as hard as I could freaking run.
This is above. I guess that's your threshold number. That's supposed to be your threshold number.
Maybe he wanted to just see where I was at, but he did say, "I don't remember the last time."
But that's heat. That's heat too. Like you're in the
treadmill.
Heat.
Treadmill.
Still, to me, treadmill is heat training.
Yeah. The treadmill was dripping, soaked, and I had this lady that was jogging next to me at the office, and like 9.3 is. I'm a big guy, so like that's a lot of movement on the treadmill, and I'm huffing and puffing because I hit 170 on my heart rate, and Patrick said, "Don't remember the last time you hit 170." I don't remember, but it was a battle for me. Like let's put it that way.
You went above your threshold a little bit,
and the lady next to me was just like, and I'm like trying to get through it, and she's like, "Are you okay?" kind of thing. Anyways, it was fun, is what I'm getting at. So the build started yesterday. And I forgot how fun.
I don't know why. Wouldn't that be so much funner outside, though? Anyways.
I don't know if I could do it without the treadmill cheating on the treadmill.
No, it's just to me, it's harder on the treadmill, I guess. But
way easier for pacing, though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But the mind, it's tough on the mind because
that's why I always do my those workouts like that. I would like make sure I wake up at 5 so that I have like clear, no traffic in the way type thing.
Maybe I'll start doing that. But you and I are a little different there. I
know.
I don't get me wrong. Like England and Scotland running outside was the
I think you just got to be. You're just way. Mentally I can't handle treadmills. I did an indoor bike workout and I was like, I can't do these watts. Like the same watts that I would do for like 30 minutes, no problem outside. I was inside and I was like, I can't do it.
I've been trained on these, right? Because that's how I started. So I maybe I'm a bit of a masochist, but I like it. I like it. And I like that it's pushing me and I like that it's a mental battle. And do I lose? Sometimes I lose. Sometimes I'm not able to do it, and I have to press down on this.
Yeah, I don't like losing. I don't like losing.
I hate losing. I hate losing
the mental battle too often, and I've lost it too many times indoors.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose this one, and like 4 minutes in, I was like to this 25 after a 10-minute, pretty aggressive. It was like 8 and 8.4, I think, for the warm up, and then 9.3 miles an hour. And then like 4 minutes in, I was like, holy shit, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. But like you're looking at the watch, I was watching Cobra Kai and I was like every minute felt like it took 3 minutes. And when you're jogging outside, the minutes don't matter because you just, next thing you know, you're there, right? It's so different. You're right. It's so different. So every minute was a battle and I got to 15, then I got to 20 and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. And the last 2 were hard. But anyways, I forgot how fun that was, and I'm excited about the
good
build.
workout. Yeah, that's all. Congrats. That means you're ready for Chicago. I mean, sorry, Patrick didn't like the drift though.
Patrick didn't like the drift. 170. You don't like the heart rate drift, and then he even said, "I'm gonna have to pull you back on the next workout. This was a little too hard for you." I'm like, no.
No. I think he's right. I think you'll get there. Like it's just you haven't trained yet.
He said something about me wanting to be able to do an hour at this with little heart rate drift.
An hour at six. Oh, because it's your threshold pace.
Yeah, he wants me to
it's
do
like
an
your
hour.
10K pace. Yeah, you're not supposed to get too much drift. I mean, really though, I feel like
HR climbed a little bit on this. It was a bit of a reach, 7%. The HR got up to 170. I don't think I've seen you there before. Well, I've been there before, Patrick, but likely some heat effect also based on the amount of sweat. We should likely pull back the pace on this just a bit before building up some more. So
I
think
that's reasonable. Yeah.
To make sure we can keep the heart rate down for an hour plus. Anyways, I felt great and it was fun. And then this morning,
but for you 170 is like 180 for me. So
I disagree. You're not 10 years older than me.
No, my heart rate just goes higher than yours in general, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think at the top end you're pretty close. Like it's probably more like 170.
I can do 125s that you can't. That's for sure. But at the top end, I think we're comparable.
Well, I think I can sing a little higher, I think, than you, but
agreed. So I'm excited about the Chicago build. And I told Patrick, no more distractions. Like no more Rob running 100K except tree hern.
Maybe we won't. I feel like maybe I shouldn't do tree hern, but if the
I asked him, can I do tree hern at a 4-hour pace 3 weeks before Chicago without disrupting it too much? And I'll see what he says. He hasn't responded yet, but if he says I wouldn't do it, I'm not going to do it.
I think 3 weeks is fine. It's your volume day, whatever.
Well, yeah, it'll be my volume day.
I think for you it's fine. For me, it's probably not a good idea because it should be like my 6-hour bike day, 6-hour bike week, anyways.
But you could. Yeah, but don't you usually do a 3-hour jog on the Sunday like during peak Ironman build? You do 6 hours and then 3-hour jog the next day or 2-hour jog. Am I wrong?
I think it's like 2.5. I don't remember.
2.5. So you could do like 4 and 4 kind of thing, comparable.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Well, this is a long episode, but last thing I have to say, did you see the spreadsheet that I sent you from Marco?
Yeah, I opened it. I don't understand what's trying.
Okay, so just go into the first column and just put the bib number, put like 5 and then 4 and then 3. So basically what it does, Marco built a spreadsheet. We are hosting the office half marathon this weekend in my office, sold out race, 20 runners. And it's the max we could have because the course is only 120 meters. We built the course out. We got 8 stations. We got everything. We got, and anyways, so Marco built, I told him, is there software that exists for this type of thing where you could just type the number of the person that's coming, or maybe it can automatically catch it with camera and it could just put the number and then automatically count the loops. And he says, I think I could probably build something in Excel. So he used Visual Basic.
Yeah.
And he built, anyways, I knew you would appreciate it because you're like, I'm an Excel guy. I love Excel and I use Excel a lot, pivot tables and whatever. But you and Marco are like next level. Like you guys are super nerds when it comes to Excel. Anyways, so if you put 5, let's say, and 5 again, it shows a lap.
I have to enable macros, so it's not working for me right now.
Okay, but anyways, so basically he can just punch in the number. It's going to tell you the last lap. It's going to tell, because what we want is if the last lap all of a sudden is like double, it means because it's for lap counting.
Yeah.
Because this office half marathon that we're doing is 178 laps of our office, 20 runners, and we need to lap count, right? So anyways, I thought I was pretty excited to show you that. So you'll be here. You're volunteering for that still? Are you able to?
What time? When?
8:30. The race starts at 9.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. You could run it if you want. It's a long pause. So I guess that's a no.
No, I'll
let me know.
I'll be there. Yeah,
I have Matteo Simon. I have Marco and Diggs, and that's it.
Okay.
So I'm going to have my kids filling up the water bottles for everyone. I'm using your strategy. We set up a pickup site for the bottle and then a drop-off bin. So you take your bottle and then you just drop it and the kids will refill it. And I'm also doing state of the right, slower
So
runners.
it's like, yeah, everybody has their own water, brings their
Yeah.
own water bottle.
Yeah. And slower runners in the passing zone, which is kind of the 3/4 of the course, slow runners to the right. And then the fast runners could just pass on the inside. Anyways, I'm excited about that. So that's this weekend. Wow, this was a
I
good
do have a
episode.
10-mile run scheduled for Sunday.
Why don't you come run it? Why don't you come run the half? Slowly, or whatever pace you're supposed to run. Just do 10 miles. You don't have to do the last three.
That could actually work. I just don't trust the data indoors.
You adjust it after. No, the data will be off. I'm guaranteeing you the data will be off because I've done it. I've done the indoor race and it.
How long have you measured the loop?
Measured the loop with a rolling
Yeah.
thing.
So how long is it?
120 meters.
Yeah, so I can go off of my time per loop.
You can. Absolutely.
So 120 meters. If I want to do a 7-minute mile, that is what? It's about 13 loops per mile.
Roughly 13
It's a
and a
bit
half.
more. 13. Anyways, I can figure out what my seconds per loop can be.
13 and a third. Yeah, you can figure it out pretty easy.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me know. Okay, let's talk about that. And then this is anyways, great episode. Congrats on the run one more time. And anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Nope. That's it. Let's good luck on your race this weekend, and good luck to Simo at the Calgary 70.3.
Yes, you go, Simo. And good luck to everyone doing any race of any kind coming up. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We're Rob and Charlie. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star. Check us out on YouTube. Put your comments in there. My video on how I went from a 5-hour to a 3-hour, getting 1,000 views a day.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently it struck a chord. People are doubting. People don't believe my story. Like, bullshit, buddy. You didn't do this. All the comments, people are just trolls, are just telling me. So that made me realize that maybe what I did do is impressive. So anyways, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next video.